Here I am. Ah, ah, I'm sorry. There's your audio. My apologies, guys. There's my audio. Well, what I was saying is that was the wood that I turned the other day, and you could see it had a really nice knot in it that created a nice color plat. But we're going to work on this. We're going to work on this one today and see if we can't get this redwood going. Okay, so bear with me on this, and we'll get started. Okay, you should have audio now. Yep, should have audio now. Should be able to hear it. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I'm gonna raise this up just a little bit. All right, let's see. Boy, this really is. It's skatey. I don't know. It's just really skatey how it. When you try and come across it. Let's see. That's coming off. Okay. I need to sharpen this soon, but we'll see. Okay. Thank you, Johnny, for letting me know about the audio. Every once in a while, my fat hands touch the screen just wrong, and it's easy to hit that off audio button. Oh, I guess I should tell you, the only thing that's holding this on is some hot glue. I use a glue chuck on the back here. It's held on with hot glue. I've let it sit for a couple days with the glue on it, so it's cured a little. And that's all that is holding this on. So if it loosens up at all, things could go bad really quickly. But I thought it was a better hold than using a tenon because the wood is so stranded and so easy to tear out. I figured that was my safest bet. And we're going to try. Well, look at that. It's just really, it doesn't want to come off in strands so much. It wants to come off in just shavings. All this, now it is cleaner cut, but the problem is it just doesn't want to curl as it goes. It wants to shave off because it keeps hitting the end grain. Wow. I'm gonna go sharpen this just to see if that's the problem. My wife was actually turning earlier today. I was showing my wife how to turn a small bowl, and she did pretty good for her first time. Um, I promised her I wouldn't videotape it because she didn't want anybody to, or not videotape it, I mean record it, because she didn't want people to see her making mistakes. So I understand that. We'll gun shy on that, but all right. All right, there we go. Okay, here we are. Hi, Abed, and hello everybody else. And please, if you're here, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'd like to get to 4,200 today, at least. That's a little better. We're getting a little bit more shavings. It's a little bit more shavings, a little more. I'm sorry, a little more curls, a little less shavings on there. Not a lot, but a little bit. And this looks like it's going to take a little while to. You can't seem to get too much going at once. It's pretty solid, even though it is a tear out type thing. It's very solid wood, so it's kind of like two problems working against each other here. And I got to keep watching that too. At some point, that knot may become a bigger problem. You can see it's kind of a slow go. I'm going to try and pick up the speed a little bit. See if we can maybe encourage it without causing more trouble. Sometimes when you pick up the speed, it helps, and sometimes when you pick up the speed, it just increases your troubles. move like that. So it just caught like that. Just tears out. Okay. Take a look and see what that looks like so far. It's almost shiny. It's shiny in here. Hi, everyone in the chat. Hi, Tim. Good to hear from you. Welcome. And please, everybody, if you're in here, please hit that like button. See what we're doing with that knot. Yeah, the knot's right there. Just hanging in there. Well, we're about a third of the way through this bowl. Let's see if I can sit down and do that. I don't know. I never turn sitting down very often. My legs been giving me a little bit of problem lately, so. What's interesting is I can watch over here, and I can see where I'm coming on this side without having to stand here and look at it. I can be pretty close. I can watch it turn. So the answer is, yeah, you can turn sitting down. It's not as optimal. Oof, don't want to do that. It's not as optimal doing it that way. Oh shoot. Excuse me 1 second, guys. I gotta double check this. Yeah, I gotta catch my computer up again. For some reason it likes to shut me off if I'm not using it every few minutes. I gotta change that parameter here, but for the moment, just give me a chance here to catch it up. There we go. Just got to remember to move the mouse every once in a while. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Jim. Yeah, please like and subscribe. Want to keep growing the channel. We are closing in on 4 million views on the channel. And that's pretty cool. If we can get to 4 or 5 million views by the end of the year, next year, this year. That'd be great. All right, that gets us about almost halfway. We're right about here. So now it's starting to cooperate a little bit. First, realize you're only taking a 30/2 of an inch off. So if you're going to take an inch out of here, that means you're going to do that 32 times. So now we are getting a little bit of tear out here in this knot. It's starting to kind of disintegrate a little bit. I don't know if that means I'm getting to the near the bottom of it, but it is a little bit more grabby now. I'm going to be a little bit more careful when we're going across that knot area right there. It's the knot area. I'm going to be real careful that I don't provide too much of the profile. You don't want to give it too much of the profile of the cutting surface. You want to give it like this so that you're not, because if I present it like this, it's going to get in there and it's going to grab. It's going to catch. But if I come across it like so, I'm only giving it a small part of the gouge to touch. And that's why I prefer this and sometimes to a carbide. The carbide has the advantage of being like a scraper, which is good, but it also even though it comes off as like a scraper, it's still it's kind of blunt in the sense that it's straight on. So really the lathe is as much as anything a matter of angles and patterns. If you learn how to use the angles of your tool to your advantage to control the wood, it makes it a lot safer and a lot easier. You're always kind of on the edge of safety with a lathe. That's for sure. So I see we got quite a few people in here. Where are you all from? I mean, I see 225 people. It'd be nice if I had 225 likes, but I'm really interested in where are you from? Hey, soldier. Make a short video and I got some stuff. Great, Tim. If you do, are you gonna post that video? If you are, put up your link here so that people can go find it, and we'll send everybody over there to take a look at your video. By the way, how cold of it is it in Ohio today? Iceland. My goodness. And SoCal. Well, SoCal, you're only a couple hundred miles south of me. I'm up in the Central Valley, California. Yeah, Tim, post your channel anytime you want. Feel free to, and I'll be happy for everybody to go over there and just check you out and subscribe. We're all a community here. We all help each other. So I do appreciate it. It's 19 now, huh? Okay, well, that's not too bad, soldier. And is there more snow to be taken off the ground, or is it cleared up for now? I think we're getting down to the bottom now. We're getting pretty close to the bottom. I don't want to jinx this when we're so close to the end, but I got to say that hot glue really seems to have worked wonders where I couldn't do it. See, I'm right about here, so I got about another half an inch or so. Where I couldn't do it with the tenon, the hot glue seems to have really done the trick. It seems to be holding it just fine. All right. See what we're getting here. Still got that knot. So looks like that branch went all the way through. And that's getting a little dicey there. I might have to go to a little bottom feeder here in a minute. Yeah, it's still going up just a little bit there. I am right here where it goes down in. So I'll be a little careful in the middle, but not completely, because The thing is, with a glue step, you don't have any miter underneath it, so you can go almost all the way down. You can see where the base is, so it's a lot easier to figure out where your bottom is. Okay, let's see what that did. I got kind of aggressive, wanted to get in there. Okay, now I got to get these sides cleaned up a little bit. I'm going to try my scraper here, see if I can get those cleaned up this little. We're doing there. Well, it's rough. It's rough. I think I'd like those just a little bit thinner. I'm going to try the gouge technique first. Okay. Make them a little thinner. Yeah, it's starting to make, see when you tap it now, no new snow, but it could happen. Yeah, I know, that's kind of the thing. Okay, Soldier, that's Tim's. Okay, great, perfect. So everybody, check out Tim's channel, and see if you can give him some love. Okay, give him a couple of likes and maybe a subscribe. That'd be terrific. So far, we're up to, let's see, 37 likes. We got almost 300 people in here. Maybe we could get it up to like at least 100 likes. That'd be really nice. I would appreciate that. I'm going to take my negative rake scraper here. I'm going to go across the bottom. Yeah. I might have to try a different scraper here. Perhaps this one. Yeah, I think it'll work. It's not. I need to get that in there a little bit better without touching. Okay. Let's take this one here. Yeah, right there. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to try and skin up the bottom just a bit. Okay. We'll try. I'll try this one. Yeah, I didn't want to go with the I didn't want to go that way. All right, can't do that. There we go. Trying to get that bottom just a little bit flatter. Okay. Sometimes it'll work and sometimes it doesn't. So, but I think we got what we needed out of that. There's quite a bit of dust. I'm gonna have to turn on the fan here to the dust collector here. Yeah, well, so I saw the one you dropped. You sure, Milson, you can sure do a pin fast, I gotta say. Okay. Got that off of there. Alrighty. Let's see if we can sand this up just a little bit. There we go. That's one direction. Let's do it the reverse. All right. Yeah, it's already getting nicer. Already getting nicer. Switch to the next one. Okay. lot of very fine dust here, and I'm trying to get as much of it to go up into the dust collector as I can. All right, we're gonna go one more grit, and then we're gonna clean this up and polish it. So it's not gonna be long here. Okay, this is very quick. One thing about this is it does sand up pretty easily. And there's that knot you still have down in there. There's nothing we can do about that. Do a little quick on the outside here. I'm going to show you what this was holding this on when I get this done here. So let me turn this off. Okay. I'm going to vacuum that out because it's obviously really dusty inside. And when you dust it out, you get to see little particles you didn't see before. Like all these little piths and stuff in the wood. Nothing really you can do about those. It's just part of the wood. But you also didn't want this to get mixed in with the finish and kill the finish. So we'll get that cleaned up here. I'm going to take a couple handfuls out of here and put them in the trash. No sense running that through my vacuum system. All right, well, there's that. A little bit off the floor so I can stop slipping and falling. Because if you don't keep the stuff clean out from underneath your feet, you are going to end up slipping at some point. All right. And there we go. All right. Sorry to make you guys sit through that, but that's part of the wood turner's process too. Yeah. See, we went from 300 down to 112 that quickly just because I was sanding. It goes in so fast it starts to make a dark line just where I put it. And now I can get a chance to brush it out before it soaks into the wood. This is all soaked in already. Yeah. that quickly. It just sucks right in. This is really really pretty dry wood that we're using right now. And take this helmet off for a minute. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that is very dry. This is very dry wood. Go back into those little holes there, the little pits. And after we harden these, we may be able to go back in and sand some of that out of there, depending on if any little things kind of get hydrated and stand up a little bit. They might be easier to do, but I don't know if we will or not. Let's see. Okay, so what do you guys think of the bowl? It's redwood is always very fun to turn because it's a very unique wood that you don't get everywhere else in the world. Unfortunately, we have an abundance of redwood and sequoia if you can get a hold of it. Which reminds me, we just found out from our wood turning group, we came across a supply. You guys will like this. A supply of olive wood. Guy has 200 acres of olive wood that he's taking out. 200 acres of olive trees. And he's offered them to us, to the wood turners to buy. And he's selling them by the truckload. And I talked to him today, and I'm going to make arrangements to go over there this weekend and fill my truck up at an extremely reasonable price. I can't say it on the air here, but let's just say you'd probably have the money in your pocket. You don't have to write any big checks. And really nice guy. And he was offering it to us instead of it just ending up as firewood or something like that. We can actually get this wood and use it for turning. So you may be seeing a lot of olive wood turnings from me in the next few months. Olive is a wonderful wood to turn. It's very fragrant. It smells like olive oil when you're turning it. And it turns it's a very strong wood, but it's also a very cooperative wood when it comes to turning it. The grain does not fight you. It finishes very cleanly. It's just a really great wood for wood turners. And if you ever get a chance to turn some olive, even if it's just for a small pen, I would do it. But this guy has bowl size, full trees that we're hopefully going to get and be able to turn into some projects here down the road. And I might even offer up a piece as a prize. You never know when we get to 5,000 subscribers. But you got to be a subscriber to do that. So subscribe. Be a subscriber. And when we hit the 5,000, we'll be able to come up with an appropriate price. So please do that, and please hit the like button. We're heading towards 100. I'd like to see 100 likes. That would really be great. So here's the bowl, as you can see. What do you think? Hi, Dunbar, Benjamin. Good to see you. I'm going to rub this out for now. This will obviously need a more finish to it later, but for right now, I'm just going to rub out this finish. Let the tung oil set for a day or two. Harden up. Got a nice little sunny spot outside. I can take it. There. So even there, you're still getting some of that dust, that fine dust off of here. So just be aware that you're not a completely clean surface, you know? And that's why sometimes you get a little bit of a muddiness to it at first. All right, let me show you how this was attached. Okay. All right. So this is the normal faceplate on a piece of poplar, and I used the poplar and I glued this on. It's glued on. It's very flat. I scarred it just a little bit so it has a little bit of surface grabbing, and I put some hot glue on it. Set it down exactly in the center, and that is really important. If I didn't want to have to return the outside, I got it exactly centered, and then I went around and I sealed the outside, and this seems to have held on really well. And all I have to do to take this off is I take a hot air gun, hot gun, and I blow it on here for a few seconds. I take a chisel and I work the chisel underneath here, and it'll pry right off. It'll come loose. I got to clean up a little bit of the glue, which can be a little messy at times. Take a palm sander, sand the bottom of it nice and smooth and clean, and finish it. And that's it. That's all you have to do, and you have a perfectly nice bottom. And this is the bowl that we end up with. And this is a lot easier than trying to use the tenon that I was trying to do the other day, because that tenon just was not going to hold, but this held. So word to the wise, right? And this is nice light redwood bowl. This will last for many years as a fruit bowl or a chips bowl or something like that. I'll set that here in the sun, and it can go outside later. Okay. So that was a nice one. Now we're going to try something hard and mean. And by hard and mean, I mean this is hard and mean. This is oak, and it is unforgiving. Oak. Okay. So I'm going to have to sharpen my tools before we even get started on this one, because this is going to be a challenge. We will get curls. We will get curls off of it. First thing I have to do is I'm going to have to level this out because it's thick and thin. I need to bring it down to this size just about. And we're going to put a tenon. I got to round it. We're going to flip it over and turn it into a small presentation bowl of some sort. So, yeah, Tim, it's a great way to attach. It really is. I mean, I've used it a lot, especially. I'll show you what else you use that on. When you have a shallow turn, something that you don't really have room to put a faceplate on. I'll give you an example here. Suppose I want to turn this. Okay, you can't put a wood screw or a faceplate or something on there because it's going to go halfway through this. You're going to have holes. So what you can do is you glue that onto the surface like so. And I got to do it before this warps. But you glue it onto the surface, and then you just have to turn it from one side. You turn everything from the one side. You don't have to flip it around or anything. You take it off, and this is done. This is going to be interesting. This is oak also, from the same tree actually. But you can see it has a wavy pattern to it. This all is very interesting oak. So this is going to be a small planter at some point, and I'm going to use the glue block for that purpose. So stay tuned for that one. Okay, well, I'm going to sharpen this up real quick. This tool has really been getting a workout the last couple of weeks. I've been using it almost exclusively. I'm sure my other tools are going, hey, why don't you use me? But, well, you stick with what's working, right? All right. On that edge. And on that side. All right. That feels about right. Okay. We'll see if that holds. This is just a quick touch up. All right. Let's get the picture kind of settled here. All right. You have several 8x4, 8x8, 8x8. You want to turn my first bowl or plate. Is that the best way? You mean with the glue? With the glue? Again, it's the thickness that really makes the difference for me. I mean, if you got 2 or 3 inches like this one, this is just there's just screws going in the back on a faceplate. That's all I'm using, and I'll be fine because this is like an inch and a half, 2 inch, or 8 3/4, 2 inches. There'll be plenty of room to put a 10 in, flip that around, and cut that all out, and you won't see any of those screw bits because they're only going in about a half an inch. But if you have something that's a half an inch or less, definitely you want to go with a glue. In my opinion, you want to go with the glue, okay, and the hot glue, and it's really simple to do. Let me see if I can show you one that I've got here. They don't have to be round. This one is actually oval, and you can see I still got the glue on it, but I used this one recently on a bowl just about that size, and I glued it on, and then I just attach it. And I just put a faceplate on the other side of it. Let me see if I can show you a more recent one here. Here we go. Yeah, if you can get 3/4 inch. I usually use 3/4 inch. This one happens to be 2 half-inch pieces that I put together. But you can use this is poplar. I love using poplar because it doesn't tear off, and it holds really solid, and it turns beautifully. I can put that on there, and I can turn this round in just a matter of seconds. You don't want it too big, but you want it big enough. For instance, is that enough surface for holding? Yeah, probably for about this size. But I wouldn't want to go any smaller because then you don't have as much surface to hold on to. Okay, so that's something to consider. And always make sure you put it around the seam. When it's on here, make sure you put it around the seam all the way around nice and tight because that helps hold it on also, not just the glue that's on here. I used to use double-sided tape, and they make us double-sided tape just for wood turners, and it's pretty good. It's pretty strong, but what happens is if it catches at all, it tends to twist, and that's when the tape loses all of its strength, when that twist comes in, and you end up losing the bowl or losing control of the bowl. Anyway. So, okay. Make sure we got everything working properly. We are up to 70. All right. We don't have to go too far to get to 100 likes today. So please double tap that screen or hit the like button. And let's see if we can do some damage on this one. This is going to be a little bit more difficult to get started with. It looks easy because it's kind of round, but let's see here. We got a little something tick in here. Oh, okay. All right. And I can come out this way easier. So this is kind of wet wood. So I am kind of, oops. Gonna get a lot of curl here first. It's nice. Okay. I know we're still way off, but Just want to kind of see how it's turning. Okay, it's turning. Half of this is getting turned, the other half is not. So okay. Still got a ways to go. That is a lot of that's a lot of cutoff to do there, you know? That is a lot. Look at those ribbons. Quite a lot of trimmings there. Yeah, I think I was taking a little too much off there at once. I think I'd go back and do a little bit. Oh, the joys of a peeler. Look at that. That peel cut. Look at that. That is nice, isn't it? That's just real pretty. Even feels good to do it. And look how close it came to being flat right there. That is pretty darn close right after that. A little bit here. That's okay. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to go to rounding the outside here. We'll come back to that bottom here in a minute. We need to round off this bottom. Okay, we're going to do a straight cut in. I'm going to see if I can give you just a little bit better view here. Okay, and just kind of watch this. See if we can do it right the first time. Yeah, I have to speed that up just a little bit. There we go. Ooh. A little bit harder wood right there. There we go. There it is. Whew. It's a pretty strong fiber. Still got a flat spot here. You can take that out. And here's what just came on me doing that one cut. That was one cut. What do you think, guys? You like that? Whew. Feel like I've been decorated. That is a lot of trimmings. Still a little tiny bit there. Okay. Well, we might have to go from the other side here. If we don't want to lose, we don't want to lose any more width than we have to. There we go. I think that's good. Okay. So we now have our basic shape. We got a shape of our bowl, or outside of our bowl, and we can go back to the tenon and get that set too. So I think I'm going to go, I think I'm going to make a little bit of an effort here. Okay. Just a little bit. Just kind of making a little bit of a foot. Okay, good. I can take this and set that right down. Doesn't that look pretty? Now I've established a little bit of a foot, and try and make that a little cleaner. I have to raise this up a little bit. A little bit longer. Okay. You gotta get it just so. All right, now we got a nice flat bottom. Good. Now I can put the tin in here, and we'll be all set to finish the outside and get this ready for turning inside. Now, I know it needs to be a little bit bigger than that, but I'm going to use that as my starting point. Well, no, actually, I got it just right. Well, that's two in the same day. That's pretty good. I don't often have that kind of luck where I'm right on both days. But I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, so that's our width. We'll get our set our depth here. I'm going to set this one just slightly deeper than I normally do because of the nature of the wood and the tear out. See the tear out that it has here? That tear out is really horrible. So I got to make sure that that goes nice and sharp. Okay. About time to change batteries on the helmet. Okay. Good. That looks good. And I think they'll be pretty solid. Okay. Well, at least I hope it will, because that's what I'm making. Get some more of that over there. All right. So please hit the like button if you can. I'd like to get it to 100. We're in the 80s, so we only need a few more to get to 100 likes. That'd be great. And subscribe, please. I need at least 20 subscribers today, if not more, to get us over that 4,200 mark. We are approaching 4 million views as a channel. We are approaching 4 million views, which is pretty cool. Since August. Well, actually since May. That's pretty good in 7 months or so. So, okay. Let me get the sander, and we're going to sand this out just a little bit. All right. This is not going to need a lot of sanding, simply because this wood is so hard, solid. And it takes the sanding pretty easily. Almost all of this outside is end grain. So it's swirling because the grain is swirling. And so it kind of is end grain all the way around it. But the good news is it's not gonna, doesn't take much to sand it. Get a little bit of a curve on that edge there. Get a little bit of that sharpness off. Okay. Okay, we'll put in the reverse. A little this, a little this, a little this. Do this one more time, and then we'll switch to another grit. going to be a nice bowl, I think. It's going to be a real nice bowl. Yeah, please. Thank you very much. You crossed 300 subs, soldier. That's pretty good. You're starting to move up. I think it's all those lives you've been doing, or not lives, but all those videos you've been doing lately. What is this 4,000 you speak of? Well, I'll tell you, the first few hundred are the pretty easy ones. Then it does tend to slow down. I'll be honest with you, but if you keep working at it, you keep working at the channel, it will increase. But I mostly do this because I was going to turn this wood regardless if I had a channel or not, and I wanted to be able to help the community a little bit and help guys that are just starting out. And I figured, what better way to do that than let people watch me screw up? So I invite you all on here to watch me do what I do and try and figure out ways of getting around some things. And we figure it out together, and then we all know what works and what doesn't work, right? So there we go. Oh yeah, that's feeling much better. Okay, much better. We'll give it a little tiny bit of this last one, and then we're done. This is just kind of for polishing a little bit. This is only 240 grit right here. All right. Okay, I know you guys have had to watch the boring stuff, and that's why a lot of people disappear. We had 300, and all of a sudden we have 75. So, that's what happens when you start to do sanding. You tend to lose people. Okay. But now we're going to do a little painting. I want to just vacuum this off because it still has a lot of powder on it. Clean up a little bit, and we're done. Okay. All right, let's put some finish on the outside of this, and then we'll turn it around. Now, because this is a pretty wet wood, has a high amount of water in it still. It was just recently cut down. It is going to not absorb quite as much of this tung oil as the redwood that we did earlier. The stuff we did earlier, it sucked up the minute it hit the wood. This will suck in some. It will take in some, especially on the end grain. The end grain is going to suck up that wood. But what do you think of that color that comes out of that when you start to put this on here? Huh? This is oak. This is oak. It's a very specific oak. It's kind of a curly white oak. I don't know the exact species of oak, but it is a white oak, and it has a curly finish to it. Sort of like you have curly maple. This is kind of like curly oak in a sense. All right. A little bit in here. All right. Yeah, I can see some dust that mixed with that with that I just poured in here. So there's still dust in here even after I put the vacuum right on it. Okay, so I'm going to let this soak for just a moment before I wipe it off and turn it around. But this will calm it down a little bit. So what do you think, guys? Yes, tung oil, yes. Yeah, it's very pretty, isn't it? See if I can get you a good view up close with the lighting. How's that? There you go. Yeah, it's going to look even prettier on the inside, and of course, when you wipe this off, it's not going to be it's not going to be as glossy, obviously, when I go to wipe this. But see, there's still stuff that's coming off of there. Still some mud, basically. No matter how much you think you got it out of all the grain, that dust still clings in there and gets into everything. So and that is what muddies up your finish a little bit. So you want to make sure you get it as clean as you can. All right. So there we go. All right. Okay. Yeah, the grain is really, really nice, and I still got a bunch of this. So, uh, yeah, I look forward to turning. I mean, some bigger pieces than this. I still got to go. There we go. All righty. Just gonna do one more check. Make sure that fits. Yep, it does. Okay. The other day I did one and I didn't double check myself and found out I didn't quite make it hole big enough. After all that work, I measure twice and cut once, right? Well, I didn't, and that was the result. So it made it a little more difficult to finish that bowl. Let me get my drill here. Okay. I love these square topped screws. They drive just much better. Oops. There we go. All righty. Off that comes. So the faceplate's off. We'll put the chuck up here. And chuck, put this on, open the chuck. Actually, I had to open it bigger than I thought. It's a bigger opening than I expected. That's not good. I want to make sure I got this on right. Still a little wobbly. Make sure it's nice and clean in there. Make sure this is clean also. You don't want anything on here that could set you off a little bit off center. Interesting. Seem to be a little bit it's not wonder why that's doing that. It's not seating properly. Right here. Okay, well. Still looks off a little. That looks better. Okay. It doesn't take much. It could take just a hair of a piece of wood, and it throws it off. I think I can work with that. It's going to be a little bit off. That's okay. I think we can work with it. For our purposes here anyway, I think that'll be okay. And it happens sometimes. Okay. Give me just 1 second to get my other battery in my mask here. Yeah, if you guys need to go get a drink, now's the time to go do it. Just don't run off. Don't turn off the machine. Give me just a few seconds to get one battery out, put one battery in. All right. Okay, I'm back with you guys. Let's try and do this. We're at about 95 likes. Let's see if we can't get that up to 100 or so, or 200 even for that matter. Okay, here we go. Okay, lower this rest just a little bit. Yep, I gotta raise it. Sometimes you wish there was kind of an incremental way of raising and lowering them, but I haven't seen one. And we might need to sharpen this again as we did the outside. Well, that's quite a thing, huh? It really makes ribbons, doesn't it? Those ribbons. You gotta say that's pretty, isn't it? It's very satisfying, yeah. When you turn it into this, although it seems like such a waste when you look at all this, it seems like such a waste, doesn't it? But you know, this is what comes off in those thin shavings, and it takes a lot of those shavings to make the wool. But you're absolutely right; it is very satisfying. And you notice when you go out with it, you don't get the same. The part of it is the angle that you're holding this gouge at as you're going through. You see how we turn that corner? And the reason we can turn that corner is because I got a double turning on here. I've got one angle here and another angle here, if you can see it. And that allows me to scoop into the bowl. So two bevels on the back of the gouge. Okay. And my wife was turning the little brother to this one this morning, earlier. I was teaching her how to turn, and this is like the bigger brother of that one. This would be good for dips or nuts or candy dish or something. I think we're getting pretty close to the bottom. Not quite there yet, but we're getting closer. Let's see where we are in this bottom here. I think we're just about there on this part, but got to go through the middle a little bit more. Yeah, it's getting closer. We are right about here. Let's do a little cleanup. All right. Then we'll go to doing a little bit of bottom cleaning here. Yeah, taking a lump of timber and turning it into something is always a lot of fun. You're absolutely right. Well, it looks like we dropped off quite a few people. You'd think they'd want to see the end of this one. Would have stuck around a little bit longer. Now, hopefully we get some others in. But still need 2 more likes to get to 100. So please double tap that that button or that screen. I should say double tap the screen or hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Give us a little love. Okay. Let's see if I can use this to kind of get this cleaned up. All right. No tear out there. You can use my using skew. There's a curve to it. It's a radius skew. So it does a real good job of getting into those corners. Okay. I think we're okay there. We could go a little bit deeper, maybe. I don't know. I want to try that. Try that with this one a little bit. I always second guess myself afterwards, you know. There you go. Yeah. Oops. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to hit you there. All right. That should do it. And there we should be able to vacuum it, or, I'm sorry, cut it out. A little sanding. And this will be our second bowl of the day. There we go. Look how nice that started coming out. Okay. Reverse it. Okay. That looks good. Okay. And one more and we'll be done. Give me one more here. All right. Hi. Okay. Turn that off and take the mask off. There we go. Now we can we'll clean this up with a vacuum just a little bit, then we'll take a look and see what the finish looks like on this. I'm guessing this is full. Yeah, it's getting pretty full. Okay. We'll put the finish on here and see what we got. Well, thank you for getting me to 101 likes today. That's appreciated. We did that the other day too. If you haven't liked yet, go ahead, please. We still got time. We can use more likes. We can use more subscribers. Would really appreciate any more subscribers. We're trying to get to, well, we're trying to get to 5,000. Right now, we're just trying to get to 4,200 today. But that would be most appreciated if you would help us in our endeavor. And it lets you know when we're doing our lives. And we do a live, well, we do a live every Thursday. And then we usually do one or two other lives during the week, depending on the week and the situations. This week is pretty busy for the weekend, so I may not be able to do another live until next week. But you'll be notified about every live that we do if you're a subscriber. You'll know, well, at least 24 hours ahead usually, sometimes more. But usually at least 24 hours ahead. Okay. So there's our bowl. Or our nut dish, maybe is what to call it. Or a candy dish. Or throw your letters in it dish, or whatever you want to call it. But I'll get you a little bit closer there. And you can take a peek at what it looks like. Isn't that beautiful grain? Really nice piece of oak. And I'm just letting it kind of soak in for just a minute. I'll wipe this off. And we'll... Oh, thank you, soldier. I wouldn't know if it's great work, but it's work, you know. It is work. And I appreciate you. You've been working awful hard on your projects lately, so I really appreciate that you spend some time in here with me. That's much appreciated. You and Tim and some of the others that are in and out of here. Hi, Greg. Didn't get a chance to say hi to you. It is very pretty. Yes, it's a really nice wood to work with. As you can see, it's green wood, so this can warp. Okay, so that's the thing to understand about green wood is that you will get some warping. Now this piece, because it's not near any pith, pith area or anything, probably is not as subject to warping as if it was a piece of a softer piece of wood and near the pith. But there's no pith here. This is just an end or a side piece of wood. So probably very little, if any, warping will occur. It could. And I've left enough room here to go back and refinish it if it does. So, you know, that's not out of the question entirely. All right. But that's the nice thing about having that mitered. I always say that. You know, you hear me say it every single day practically. But that's why I really like using this mitered tenon, because we're not cutting off a tenon or anything. I can slap this back on here and we can put it right back on here and do some more sanding or more finishing or whatever we need to do. But here's the bowl. I'll try to bring it up to you. And it's got a little chatoyance to it. The outside is very nice. The bottom looks nice. It's just a really nice bowl all the way around, I think. And it will, it's heavy. This is a real heavy bowl compared, this is heavier than that larger redwood bowl we made earlier today. If you weren't here for that one, this was the redwood bowl we made. So as you can see, it's much bigger. This is actually lighter than this is. It's a much more dense wood. But I think they both came out really, really nice. You kind of set them here like so. And, well, you know what? Let me take this off here. There we go. Get the chuck out of the way here. There we are. Now you can see both bowls. I'm going to take the tailstock off too, or the tool rest off, and you can see both of these. There. So this is what we turned today. I hope you enjoyed this. What is how do you stabilize the oak? Well, first of all, you can dry it a number of different ways, including using a microwave, or you can do it naturally, or you could seal it for a while and let it naturally stabilize. This one's going to stabilize pretty well. It like I said, it's not near a pith or anything, so it's not going to be subject to the strains that you would have from some of my other pieces. However, in fact, let me try and get another one here so I can explain. Okay. If this was the center of the bowl, and it's not, but if this was the center of the bowl, this is the pith, you're going to have cracking all through here as it dries because of the nature of the wood. It tends to, the stresses are stronger here than they are out here. Okay. But in bowls like this, there's no stress point per se, and so there's probably not going to be a lot of warping to this. I trim them accordingly. But if you have one that is, if you have one that is got the pith in the middle of it or something like that, you can turn it. Just understand that the wood is going to pull towards and away, so it's going to pull in and out at the same time, and you're going to end up with an oval bowl, and you might end up with a curve in the top too, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, you don't have to have everything that looks perfect like it came out of a factory in China. You know, you want to have things like that. So I use those things to my benefit, and I actually turn it into my design a little bit so that when it's oval, it actually looks a little bit better than it did when it was round. And I've done some of those videos on here. You can see me describe that situation a few times. Redwood, I'm not worried about. It's not going to warp at all. It's a very stable wood, and it's not going to do anything. So I don't have to do anything to that. Other than giving it a finish, letting the finish settle. I like using the tung oil, 2 or 3 coats, and giving it about a week. You know, give it about a day in between for each one of those. Maybe give it a final sanding, and then after you've done the final sanding, you got any little grit, because I can feel a little tiny bit of raised end grain in here that needs to be sanded off before I do any final finish. And then I could just use a wax, or I could and buff it out, or I could use like a feed and wax or something, or I could do a spray like a shellac spray on here. I could do a lot of different finishes depending on what I want. Do I want a dull finish or do I want a shiny finish? This one actually it shines already, even without any kind of a shiny finish on it, because it's such a hard wood, a dense wood. It actually shines a little bit already. So, yeah, it does take practice. But if you look at some of my other videos, it does. In fact, I've got a whole video on that in the video section, not in the live section, but in the video section, I think, or in the shorts maybe. You'll find a video about that particular subject. Okay, well, guys, I really appreciate y'all being here today. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. It's been just about 2 hours, and I think we can. Yeah, I think this was a good day for turning. We'll talk to you all real soon, and thanks for being here.